I'm Oral Hershiser, and I am on Blue Review. Hey, this is Sean Green. You're watching the Blue Review.
Bow, 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 bow. Wow. that was beautiful. Wow, look at that. Welcome everybody to the Blue Review on a Friday morning. We're a little bit loopy. Welcome to the show. I'm Marcus Grant. That is Greg Bergman. We will be joined in a moment by our friend Anthony Witrado. How are you feeling? You seem to have a bundle of energy this morning.
I have no idea why either. My alarm, which normally I wake up before my alarm because I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning every single morning, and this morning it scared the hell out of me. I almost cursed. It scared the hell out of me, and somehow on the way in, all of a sudden, like this jolt of energy hit me, and now I'm just out of this world right now for no reason whatsoever. But you know what? I'll take it.
All right.
How are you feeling, Marcus?
I'm sort of the same, where I normally wake up before my alarm. This morning it woke me up, maybe because it's hotter than the hinges of hell in my house, so I'm not really sure. Maybe that's why I slept a little bit longer, but I feel good, ready for the weekend. It's nice to have some baseball back.
Some Dodger baseball back.
Some actual baseball back.
Yeah, I did enjoy kind of not watching stuff, but I am ready to watch stuff again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's been long enough now. Before we bring in Anthony, let me tell you that the Blue Review is powered by LAX. From practice to prime time, the all-electric LAX Skylink is being put through its paces in testing, getting ready to deliver reliable and traffic-free airport experience. For more information, visit lawa.org/ESPN. All right, let us bring in our friend and co-conspirator, Anthony Witrado, who usually joins us on Fridays. Did you also wake up with your alarm instead of before it? I don't even know if that's a thing that you normally do.
I woke up before my alarm. I'm with Greg. I typically am up before it goes off. And like you both, I woke up with some energy to get out of my system. So I'm ready to do this.
Yeah.
Maybe this is because we're not, up late watching, Will Klein and Tanner Scott having to white knuckle us through saves or something like that. I don't know. We actually get decent night's sleep. I have no idea. Either way, all that ends tonight because the Dodgers are back in action. A 3-game series that starts in New York with Greg. You just start here because the pitching matchup for the first game of the second half of this season, maybe not what you'd expect. You have a couple days to sort of rearrange your rotation and get it ready again. So, Greg, how surprised were you to see that it's Roki Sasaki that gets the ball tonight against Garrett Cole?
I'm really annoyed by this. I'm going to have some major fake outrage about this right now, okay? The idea, it's been enough time, and we're starting up again, and you're at Yankee Stadium. This is New York versus Los Angeles, and Garrett Cole's on the mound. And we get Roki Sasaki. Like, no offense to Roki. Like, I love the guy, but he's kind of up and down, whatever he is. But what are we doing here? Why is it not either Justin Robleski, Shohei Ohtani, or Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the mound tonight against Garrett Cole? Give me a good pitching matchup at Yankee Stadium. This is the exact time to have these guys. You're all rested. You're all fine. I understand with the Shohei stuff and getting the knee drain, blah blah blah. He's fine by now. I'm sure everything they're saying is he's going to be starting like normal. Give me a good matchup out of the break. I think it's nonsense that Roki Sasaki's on the mound tonight. It should absolutely be one of Shohei Ohtani or Justin Robleski because I like the pitching matchup on Sunday with Yamamoto versus Schlitter. And then it's like Sheehan versus, I forgot who it was.
Ryan Weathers.
Yeah, Ryan Weathers. Thank you. Who cares? I would give me the good matchup out of the break. Are you guys with me?
No
fake outrage for you?
That's good fake outrage. I don't know if you have any real outrage, Anthony, or at least insight as to why they did this, other than, I guess they just wanted to see Roki again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can beat the fake outrage rant that Greg provides. But look, I'm okay with this. I think for them, this is a matter of having a double-digit lead at the break in the division. And I think obviously we all know that moving these guys, back a little farther is about lining up with off days in the schedule and getting them the rest and et cetera, all that stuff. And we've seen them kind of manipulate the rotation in this way all season long. We saw it last year. So I am not surprised that, maybe Yamamoto's the third guy. Shohei's not pitching in this series. I'm with you, though. I am surprised that it's Roki getting the ball out of the break. The way he's looked recently says that this is not going to be a good idea, and they could very well be 0-1 coming out of the break after tonight. But, he surprised us before. So I guess we'll wait and see. But, yeah, I was surprised that he was the guy who got the ball and maybe not, Sheehan or, somebody else. But, hey, we'll see. At least it'll be an entertaining Friday for a little while.
For like an inning or two.
Right. Here's the thing. It could go great and we're locked in all night long, or we could decide after a couple innings, like, hey, maybe we can go catch a late showing of the Odyssey or something. Who knows?
If he's great, we're not going to shut up about it, and we're going to be annoying and say Roki's back because he did it against the Yankees, and we'll be talking about it on Monday. And so,
well, okay. To that point, though, I mean, the thing that Yoshinobu Yamamoto did 2 years ago when he went into Yankee Stadium and went, I think it was like 7 complete innings with like 1 hit or whatever the exact numbers were, we were like, okay, this is the guy now. This is who he is, and maybe this could be Roki's moment going into Yankee Stadium and just shoving against them. They haven't been very good offensively. They haven't been very good defensively recently, especially without Aaron Judge. So, I mean, this could be that moment for Roki, but, I don't want to see him on Friday against Garrett Cole.
Yeah, I think you're right, Greg. And also the other thing too is like, maybe the time off has helped him, figure a couple of tweaks out, and maybe he'll be sharp. So wait and see. Are we optimistic? Am I optimistic? Meh. But I'm not gonna let it ruin my Friday full of energy.
I think that's probably the best way to look at it. By the way, the Yamamoto game that we all love talking about so much, 7 innings of shutout baseball, 2 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. That, I think, for a lot of us, certainly myself, is the moment I realized that the Dodgers had an actual legit dude.
That was on national TV also. That was a big
game. Yeah, it was. That was a huge game. It was a huge series. And for the Dodgers to go in there and kind of dominate them in that series like that was, I think, a really, really telling moment for that 2024 season. So here they are in 2026, chasing a three-peat. That was the first, of course, 2024, the first of the back-to-back World Series. So now here they are. And Anthony, for this team, when you look at the second half of the season, right? I mean, obviously they were great. They have a huge lead. They right now have the best record in baseball. We also saw that they kind of took their foot off the gas leading into the All-Star break. I don't think anybody really freaked out in real life about what happened with the Diamondbacks. It was disappointing, but not a red flag. Do you see them making this hard charge? Is it mandatory that they get the 1 seed in the National League as they finish out this regular season?
Yeah, I don't think it's so much mandatory. But I think the priority is, aside from winning the division, which it looks like they're going to, the priority would be to not play in that wild card series like they had to last year, and make sure you get that bye coming out of that and you go straight into the NLDS. I know there's been the whole talk about, rust versus rest and all of that stuff. I'm a rest guy, especially with the lineup this old and with the rotation that, sort of has to be pampered in this way when it comes to like, where's your spot in the order going to fall? And so, I think that coming out of the break, they're one of the teams that doesn't have to be pedal to the metal. I think if you look at some of the other division races, I want to say 4 other ones are like, these guys better step on it immediately. And I think there might be one race out there where it's kind of like there's a little cushion, but nothing like what we see in the NL West. And so I think that's how they approach it. And this team's good enough to keep winning games, even without, having to sort of show that sort of urgency, I think. They can't look like they look like against the Diamondbacks, but,
Play some defense.
Yeah,
huh?
Play some defense, maybe get a couple of timely hits. Let's tighten up the pitching a bit, limit the walks. Basically, everything that you don't want to do is what they did in those 3 games against Arizona. Greg, Anthony mentioned, you got obviously some older guys in the lineup. You've got some pitching that you're waiting on to come back. Blake Snell, there is positive news there. He's going to go out on a rehab assignment, and so the expectation is that he will be back in Los Angeles and in the rotation really very soon. But Greg, there's some other guys that we're still sort of waiting on. Will Smith obviously being the big one. Of the guys who were gone, say Will Smith, Edwin Diaz, although he seems to be working his way back. Tyler Glasnow remains in the shadow realm. Which one of these, or is there somebody I didn't name that sort of worries you the most in that category?
I mean, I think I don't really. You always have to worry a little bit about him. I think I worry about Shohei Ohtani a lot. I mean, as long as he is okay, because he's the engine that drives the whole thing and blah blah blah, that whole thing. But as long as he got his knee drained, as long as he's okay, I think that's the best. But the guy that I'm most concerned about, and I think could impact this run the most, is Will Smith. We still don't really understand what's going on with Will Smith. We know it's something in his neck. He's kind of had some baseball activities, kind of not. We don't know when he's going to be back. So I think he is such a force behind the plate and has so much trust from the pitchers when he is behind the plate that while Dalton Rushing is a good catcher, it's a massive, the drop off from Will Smith to Dalton Rushing, I think, is a large drop off. And having to take on this pitching staff and of all of these veteran guys and having it so that Shohei and Yamamoto and Snell and when Glasnow, if he comes out of the shadow realm, and whoever is starting in the postseason, needs somebody that they trust behind the plate, so they don't really have to think too much about that portion of it. They just go out and throw and not think, okay, I have to call my own game too, and have to worry about the guy behind the plate even just a little bit. So I think the Will Smith thing is huge, that if he doesn't come back and he doesn't come back healthy, that's going to be something where you're looking at the trade deadline. And I think Will Smith, whether or not he comes back at full force, that's the biggest worry for me amongst everything.
Well, I mean, Greg, I would say, because you're saying the trade deadline. I mean, that only gives you a couple of weeks to sort of determine where he is. The last report from Dave Roberts, and you can parse this any way you want, that he will be back this year. We just don't know when.
What does that mean?
I mean,
thanks, Dave.
That could be.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, manifest in December.
Right. I mean, that could be next week. That could be Thanksgiving. Like, I don't know. It could be anywhere.
Just don't say anything. Forget it. We're still evaluating.
We still got 4.5 months left of the year, Dave. That's a long way to go. So, yeah. Anthony, I mean, Greg mentioned Shohei Ohtani. He did get the knee drained. We saw him take a skip out on the All-Star activities, which I think every Dodger fan was perfectly understanding and appreciative of. I think I asked this question, I might have asked Jeff Spiegel, or maybe I asked you, Greg, earlier last week. When it comes to him as a pitcher in the second half, do we see him skip more starts, or was this rest good enough that he can still take his turn every 6th day or so?
I think if he's healthy and this knee situation is behind him after the procedure, I don't think he skips any starts. Maybe toward the end, if they have things wrapped up, I could see that. I don't think it's fully behind him. I think when you have a situation like this and you have to drain something, it means it's going to be monitored. And I could see them maybe not skipping starts necessarily, but okay, we're going to push you back. You were supposed to pitch on Friday. You're now going to pitch on Monday. You're not going to, throw in this weekend series or something. I could see those kinds of situations popping up. But that's just because I don't think it's necessarily a serious hindrance to him. But I think it's a thing that they're going to continue to monitor and just sort of try to give him as much padding as they can with the schedule. And so I think they handle it that way, but I don't think he misses 3 turns because he's hurt. I don't think that's the case. But I do think they handle him a lot more cautiously.
Yeah, I do think that's probably going to be the case. I do think having this time off though is a benefit. So hopefully he can sort of rest up and get ready for the second half of the season, because obviously we understand how important he is to this rotation, to this team in general. Speaking of rotation, Greg, does Justin Robleski keep it rolling in the second half?
Man, I hope so, because he has been so good. We've just seen it so many times that a younger guy comes out, is super hot in the beginning of the season, makes an All-Star appearance, and then is a different guy afterwards. I mean, Tony Gonsolin is one that comes to mind right away, where he was great for the first half, All-Star, and then the second half was not so good, got injured. There was a whole bunch of different things that went on with him. But I mean, I hope so, because the way he throws, he seems like he's getting better as the starts go on. I feel like Tony Gonsolin was always like playing with fire while he was out there, but still like kept those numbers down. So Robleski, even though he was that type of guy pitching to contact early on, he feels like he's turned a corner when it comes to his command and with the swing and miss stuff. He's also throwing that third pitch. You're seeing the curveball more often. He threw it a couple times in the All-Star game. Just like those, so now when you have a slider, a curveball, and that fastball, it's keeping guys off balance. It's almost like he saved it for later in the year to be able to throw it later on, so that people are like, oh, well, where did this pitch come from? But so he's looking much better. I hope he does. I think he does. But we've just seen too many times where a young guy has had a great first half and not so great second half.
I mean, so as it stands right now, though, Anthony, I mean, with Blake Snell coming back, does this mean that Emmett Sheehan right now is the odd man out in the rotation?
I think it's probably Eric Lauer.
Yeah.
I think we forget about him still being in the rotation and still being, hey, he grabs his lunch pail and goes and does his job every sixth game. And for as good as he's been, and as much as I think the fan base has sort of fallen for him in terms of like, hey, this is a guy who can do the job, and he's actually been pretty decent at it, a la Ben Rortvedt, he's probably not the long-term answer here. And I think even with the struggles of Roki and Emmett Sheehan, Eric Lauer, I would think, is probably the odd man out once this rotation gets healthier. Snell coming back first, we would imagine. But yeah, I think he's sort of the guy who gets overlooked and the guy who we would rather keep at this point. But he's probably the answer here.
So what do you do with Eric Lauer then, Marcus? What do you do with him? Do you like hold on to him? Do you try and see if he can come out of the pen? Do you trade him for maybe a couple prospects to beef up your minor league even more so? What do you do with him?
Yeah, I mean, the idea of trading him seems good. I don't know if anybody's giving you any real prospects of note for a guy like Eric Lauer.
It's not really a super high prospect, but if you get somebody that's in single A, that you can probably get a couple guys. What was that?
Yeah,
a lottery ticket prospect.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably your best option. Maybe. I mean, look, I think it's worth at least trying to see what you can get in return for him. And then if that doesn't work, what I imagine he's 31, right? He's probably out of options, so you probably have to. I don't know. Do you want to DFA him? I don't know.
I don't think you want to, but I think that could be the answer. It's also a situation where in 2 weeks, I don't know that Blake Snell's ready, and I don't know that River Ryan is the guy at that point either, and so they may need Eric Lauer beyond July for a little while, and so trading him might not be a real option if you want to keep the six starters, and so if they may just have to bite the bullet, keep him into August, and then DFA him. With the Dodgers, though, these things kind of do have a tendency to work themselves out. So if somebody gets a hangnail on their pitching hand and they have to do it for a little while, Eric Lauer might be longer for the rotation than we think.
It is wild that we're here. Like, they have all these arms, and here we are trying to figure out, like, hey, so what do they do? Do they have enough? Is River Ryan ready? When will Blake Snell come back? People wonder why the Dodgers keep signing pitching, and the answer is this.
I mean, you kind of got to though, because you're mentioning River Ryan. I think he was on the injured list last I saw, and I think he may still be on there, but I think it was something just small, minor, like a hamstring. But I mean, yeah, hamstring. Yeah, so he's going to be coming back at some point, but he was on the injured list too. I don't know. All of these guys, you need to have. They're almost in a 7-man rotation at this point, and they probably. Yeah. I'm sure everybody else is really happy about that, except for the rest of the major league. But you got it. Like it's as much pitching as possible. So I don't know. I think I can see Eric Lauer. I think you still can get something for Eric Lauer, but I like the way that Anthony put it. That if in case someone gets a hangnail, because that's what Glasnow would do, right? Out for 3 months, hangnail.
Oh man.
Right. Will Smith.
I mean, he just slept wrong, and now it's like a major incident. I have no idea how this happens. As we wrap this up, we get ready for the official start of the second half of the season. I'm going to take Shohei Ohtani out of this equation, but Greg, give me who you think your second half MVP for this team will be.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm going very, very far out on a limb. I talked about it on Sedano and Cap, I think earlier this week or last week, but who I think is gonna pull. I think Kyle Tucker just goes off in the second half. I think he just completely turns back into the guy that we signed, and he figures something out while having this long break in between. And I think he's somebody that becomes a force for this lineup. And I'm going to put it on there that he's going to get 20 home runs. He's going to be up to 20 home runs by the end of the year. I know it's only like 65 games, and that's a lot of home runs for him who hasn't really done much. But I think that's the guy that turns around everything and becomes an actual force in this lineup.
All right.
Or maybe it's
all the
wishful
people
thinking.
who were upset because they thought that the Kyle Tucker signing ruined baseball, they get to be right. Too bad.
Good. Good.
Anthony, who is your non-Shohei MVP for the second half?
I was going to pick Kyle Tucker. I'll move off of that. Yeah, I think what you said is correct. I see good things happening for him post All-Star break. I'll choose someone else. I'm going to say it's going to be Pages. I think we're going to see Andy Pages continue his defensive eliteness and sort of find it again offensively. And I think he's one of the guys who ends up with the right up there, top 3 OPS on the team, second half. Can he carry that into the postseason is a discussion we'll have in September, but I think he's a guy who finds it again.
All right. So I think I'm going to go just so we can, have a little difference of opinion here. I'm going to lean toward Mookie Betts, just because I think it's been long enough that we have seen this sort of underwhelming version of Mookie Betts. And, it probably goes back to the broken hand he had a couple of years ago. Then obviously last year he had the illness and a whole lot of things, sort of personal things sort of going on off the field that have impacted him. I think, now that time has passed, he's gotten healthier. I think we started to see it a little bit before the All-Star break too, that past version of Mookie Betts. I think we start to see the slug come back. I think we see the average start to come up. We know defensively that he has been incredible since moving to shortstop. So I think we're going to start to see that guy. And especially if he can start doing it from that 4 spot. If the Andy Pages thing works out and he can start to do it from the 2 spot, and then you have Tucker who starts hitting from the 7 spot. Basically, if all these things pop, the Dodgers will continue to be this formidable juggernaut that everybody's afraid of, and that makes our show a lot more fun. So
it sure does.
That's kind of what we're hoping for. So there it goes. Second half starts tonight at Yankees Stadium. Game 1 of a 3-game series against the Yankees. 4:05 Pacific time, first pitch from the ball yard in the Bronx. And we'll be back here on Monday to talk about it. Anthony, as always, enjoy chatting with you. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good.
All righty. Stick around. The Sedano and Cap Morning Extravaganza coming up from Del Mar.
Sunday.
And then, go Sunday. Check out Rock and Brews for the World Cup final. That should be a whole lot of fun. Appreciate everybody in the chat hanging out. Thanks to Carlo for production assistance. But that'll do it for this edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. For Anthony, for Greg, I'm Marcus. We'll see you on Monday here at the ESPN LA YouTube channel, 6:30 to 6:55 a.m. See ya.
Blue Review.